Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Travel with Rick Steves Europe. My name is Julianne Worden, and I will be your moderator this evening as we travel along with Rick. Today is very exciting as it is Rick's birthday, and he has chosen to spend the evening with us here at Monday Night Travel. Rick will be taking us across his top destinations in Europe for a dream vacation, and we get to spend the night celebrating with our favorite travel guide. And now, without further ado, I'll turn things over to Rick Steves, who will be our tour guide this evening. Happy birthday, Rick.
Well, Julianne, thank you. And what was that thing you just held up? Can you show me that again? Is it like Rick on a stick?
Yeah, Rick on a stick. That's what I called it too.
Rick on a stick. Well, that's fine with me. I'm glad you got Rick on a stick there. And I'm glad everybody's tuned in tonight. So thank you, Julianne. And this is Monday Night Travel. And I'm celebrating my birthday, and this is my second party in a row. I'm halfway through this bottle of beautiful wine, and it's going to be gone by the end of this evening. I can promise you that. And we are going to celebrate travel, something I just love to do. And I want to remind you, every Monday night we get together because it's just my need to enthuse about travel. I'm in Europe for 100 days a year on a normal year, updating our guidebooks, helping with our tour program, making TV shows. Of course, this year, none of us are traveling. We're all at home. We got 100 people on our staff, and we're waiting, and we are excited that the light is at the end of the tunnel, and we're about to open up and start taking names for our tours. That's going to happen in a couple of weeks. But still, every Monday we get together and we celebrate right here. I just love this opportunity to enthuse. So thank you for joining us. And today, it happens to be my birthday. I do want to remind you, of course, it was just Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I just had my mom's been dead for about a decade now, and I just have so many beautiful memories of my mother, like I'm sure you do too. And I just had the opportunity to think about how my mom was my first tour guide in so many ways. And I got to write an essay about that and to celebrate her life and her impact on me and share it on my Facebook page. If you're checking out my Facebook page, check it out because my mom really was important in my life. And of course, I'm so thankful right now to be able to be home celebrating with all of you, feeling good, feeling positive about what's coming up. And we've got some fun travels this evening. We've put together an itinerary that is my selfish favorite places. It's my birthday party, and we're going to eat a lot of my favorite food. First of all, we've got some beautiful Italian style wine, but it's Italian wine made right here in the Northwest, made in the Columbia River Valley. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a little while. I do want to remind you, that is good wine, that we're going to be having some insalata caprese. And this is the Isle of Capri, the Capri salad. And this is a sort of a go-to dish in Italy. And we've got this beautiful, the tomatoes in Italy are just like, if you've never had a tomato in Europe, you haven't tasted a tomato. And you generally put, I believe, mozzarella on it, but I like to put feta on it. And then I sprinkle my basil on there and drizzle it with some olive oil and some balsamic vinegar and some salt and pepper. And that's a nice salad. So that's my caprese salad. And then I've been busy today. I cut off work early because I had some cooking to do and I wanted to make for you. Look at that. Eat your heart out. That's good stuff. I made it myself. I'm cooking, baby. And these are my bruschetta. And I want to introduce you to these later on, but it's basically toast from a rustic baguette. And then you get that toast nice and crunchy and you rub it with your garlic clove. And then you can mix and match any old way you like. And I've got some cool mixing and match, and I'm going to explain that to you later. And we're going to go to some exciting places. What I like to do almost every week on Monday Night Travel is to take you to our program called Classroom Europe. And it's free. It's designed for teachers and homeschooling parents, but everybody gets to use it. And I've been using it a lot lately. This is our homepage at ricksteves.com. And as I mentioned, our tour page has been not very active lately, but starting in about 2 weeks, our tour page is going to be actually taking deposits for tours, God willing, in early 2022. So stay tuned for that exciting news. It's exciting news for all 100 of us at Rick Steves Europe. But today we're going to go to Classroom Europe. I'm going to double click on that. And as we do so many times for Monday Night Travel, we're going to cobble together our favorite collection of travel clips and make a half an hour of programming. And these are 500 clips distilled out of 150 shows. And you can search it in many ways. Like, for instance, I really feel like I want to do a hike tonight. So I'm just going to type in hike. And here we have all the different clips that have hikes in it. And this is exactly what I'm looking for, the Tour du Mont Blanc. Hey, that's on our list. And then let's do something else. How about a Greek island would be fun. So I just type Greek island and we got the Isle of Hydra, which is not famous. It's just 90 minutes away from Athens, but it's my favorite Greek island. So now we have 2 videos, 11 minutes. The next thing I want to put on my list would be something intense. I'm just going to type in jungle. And when I type in jungle, I get Naples, Italy's urban jungle. And that will be video number 3. So now we're up to 20 minutes and I still got time for a couple more clips. I really like to get a dose of Baroque, Baroque, Baroque Europe. And there's so many great Baroque towns. And here we have Prague. It's the one great Baroque city that was not bombed in the wars of the last century. And now we have time for one more clip. And I want to go to a place that speaks Gaelic. Gaelic, Gael. And there's a Gaeltech in Southwest Ireland. I'll click that. And now you can see there we have 5 videos, 28 minutes, and that would be our playlist. Now, if I go to the playlist, I can see here those 5 clips, and I can give it a name. I'm going to call it Rick's Birthday Europe Bash. All right. And I will save that. Now, any of you can do this too. It's free. It's fun. There's no ads. It's just travel. And I can go to my personal playlist category. And there we have Rick's Birthday Europe Bash. 5 videos, 28 minutes, updated less than a minute ago. Again, you can play around with this. Your teachers can play around with this. Just a lot of fun. So that's what we're going to do. And the first stop on Rick's Birthday Bash of Europe is going to be Mount Blanc. And I'm so excited about Mont Blanc because I've been spending a lot of time traveling around Europe and I keep going back. Why? Because Europe is the never-ending gift. And just in 2019, I discovered the long distance trails of Europe. And we're going to take you on one of those long distance trails around Europe. If I had the opportunity to go to Europe right now on vacation, I believe this is where I would go. And I'd like to take you there right now. We're just out of Chamonix. We're going to hike around Mount Blanc. Oh, and we're going to have a beautiful alpine time. Thanks for joining us.
Europe has many iconic long-distance hikes, and one of the most popular is the Tour du Mont Blanc. While the Mont Blanc Massif offers some of Europe's most demanding mountaineering, this accommodating trail is flexible, enjoyed by hikers with a wide range of abilities. It's like a huge park, part in France, part in Italy, part in Switzerland, and it's busy June through September.
Tour du Mont Blanc circumnavigates Europe's highest peak. So you go around it in about 10 days, each day about 10 miles for a total of 100. Each day you see a different valley, a different glacier, a different view of the Great Mountain.
The Tour du Mont Blanc is part in wooded farmland and part above the tree line in the company of glaciers. The appealing thing about it for American hikers is the delightful mix of nature, history, and culture. The people you meet on the trails come from many lands, and your days are filled with cheery greetings. We're in France for this section, so it's bonjour. Hikers here have plenty of options. You can hike as little or as much of the route as you like, but you must reserve your beds well in advance. One thing I really appreciate, you can hire a transfer service to take your luggage to the next hut. That frees me up to hike with just the essentials in a small day bag. And with Cassandra's help, I've chosen a route I'm comfortable with. A typical day on the trail is about 10 miles and around 6 hours of walking.
I want to remind you that I decided to wear my Cascadia t-shirt back in 2019. A lot of us were wearing our Cascadia t-shirts and we don't wear them anymore. We don't need to, we don't think. But also, as far as my gear goes, the most important thing was a good pair of shoes. And I realized I had my city walking shoes, which are great in cities, but when you're in the mountains, you need something serious. And I did something I've never done before. I bought some serious gear in a tourist resort high in the Alps of Europe, and it was great. Remember, you can buy your gear as you go. I bought some wonderful, high-tech, sturdy, sort of tennis shoe hiking boots, and that's what the hikers are all wearing these days. And it was a real blessing to have good shoes. Keep that in mind as you're traveling. You need the good gear.
And the route is never dull. This bridge actually dates back to Roman times. And for much longer than that, its river has been carving this gorge.
So one of the really interesting parts about this route is that it used to be an old Roman road. And there was a Celtic settlement just down the way. So in addition to Romans and Celts, these paths were also used by shepherds taking their stock to different fields.
Mountain huts called refuges are placed conveniently a day's hike apart. Our first night is at Nampuran.
So this is Cassandra Overby, and Cassandra is a great teacher when it comes to hikes in Europe. She wrote the book, literally. Her book is called Explore Europe on Foot. And we've got a link to her book in our chat page here on the show today. But I interviewed Cassandra on my radio show 2 times. And if you want to hear the interviews, you can just Google Cassandra Overby, Rick Steves, or you can go to our archive and find it. But I just was so impressed by Cassandra's ability to understand and know these long distance hikes that we actually flew her over. And for 3 days, she was with us there from Chamonix around here. And she really was a good leader, and it made this part of the show possible.
Mountain lodge dating back to the 1800s. Huts are basic, like hostels for adults. Hikers share co-ed dorms and follow the mountain hut etiquette. Bring your own sleep sack, no boots inside, and so on. Personal chores are done upon arrival. Then it's time to relax. Well, very simple. Up here, the little things feel
They feel luxurious. I mean, just the simple lifestyle. Look at this. I mean, we've been hiking for half the day. We came into our mountain lodge, which we had a reservation for. We did our duties, our little chores, and then it's hang out with new friends, have a nice beer, marvel at your situation. I'll tell you, if I'm going to Europe on vacation, next up might just be the Tour de Mont Blanc.
luxurious. A refreshing beer after a day on the trail hits the spot. Dinner is rustic. There's no menu. Hikers enjoy whatever's served. And here, way up in the French Alps, I'm happy to consider this high cuisine. Soup with mountain cheese. Tasty sausage with potato au gratin. And to complement it all, a hearty red wine from Savoy. That's the region we're in. The culture of the Tour de Mont Blanc is one of respect for nature, a joie de vivre, and an international camaraderie. In the huts, it's early to bed and early to rise.
So I just want to comment on the cuisine here. The cuisine is amazing. And the great thing about this trail is it's French, Italian, and Swiss. Here's a little insight into TV production. A lot of people wonder, why do I wear the same shirt for like 6 days in a row when I'm making a half-hour show? Because I don't want to remember what I wore yesterday, because when we're filming, you got to have continuity. You can't wear different shirts and be popping in and out with a different shirt while you're on the same trail. So I just solved that problem by wearing the same shirt all the time. Here I had different shirts and we have a little continuity problem. Right now, as you can see, I'm wearing my Keep On Traveling t-shirt. By the way, we sold about 2,000 of these to all of you guys. Thanks to your support, we've got them on half price now because it's just our declaration. We're not making any money on that, but we are happy to sell these shirts at half price. And we've just restocked so that you can have your declaration of travel. We're going to keep on traveling. But in just a moment, you're going to see a continuity problem because I'm having breakfast and then bam, I somehow went from my Keep On Traveling t-shirt to my Cascadia t-shirt. Okay, that's the screw up. We try to minimize those.
After a quick breakfast, we're on to the next leg of our route. Since each day you try to cover about 10 miles, it's important to eat and stay hydrated as you go. Fortunately, the Tour de Mont Blanc's enjoyable combination of wilderness and commerce means the trail is well developed for the needs of hikers along the way. And small shops are ideal for assembling a rustic picnic. A day's hike is punctuated by encounters with the mountain culture, like a dairy farm making cheese pretty much the way they have for generations. The farmer's focused on his work and proud of his product. He treats us to a sample. And we buy a nice slice for the trail. Clearly, cheese is the energy bar of the Tour de Mont Blanc. Tonight, we're sleeping in a bigger refuge. This one's a bit more remote, high above the tree line, but with the same hearty food, simple dormitories, and great company. The next morning, the convenience of the baggage transfer service is obvious, as bags are taken to a variety of destinations depending on each hiker's plan. As we head out on what'll be my last day on the trail, I realize that after so many decades, I'm enjoying a brand new European experience, an experience I wouldn't have found without a great guide like Cassandra. Cass, what are the most important things people should know when they're hiking like this?
You know, there are only really 3 big things that you need to think about. The first one is be prepared for time in the outdoors. So at a minimum, you need good shoes, some great layers, a solid backpack, and a good map. Number 2 is be really proactive about your comfort when you're on trail. So eat before you're hungry, drink before you're thirsty, and the moment that anything feels uncomfortable, if it's your backpack or your shoes, just stop and take care of it before you go on.
And finally,
don't be intimidated by all of the gear or the athletic nature of walking. You don't need to be a hiker, you don't need to be a super athlete to enjoy this kind of travel.
because look at my gear and look at what shape I'm in, and I'm having a blast.
Right, it's not about exercise. This kind of thing is best when you slow down. So there's a hut around every corner. Stop and take a coffee, or in the afternoon, have a victory beer if you had a big climb. When you find a stream, soak your feet. That's really how you enjoy this.
It's like you're on vacation.
It should be fun.
Cassandra's hiking the rest of the route, but my luggage is back in Chamonix, and I will be too, in time for dinner.
Whoa. That was an experience. And I just was teasing myself with it because we only had 3 days. We were there 3 days pretending we were hiking all around Mount Blanc. But I want to go back and do the whole thing. Hey, one of my favorite things, as I mentioned about European travel, is you can't exhaust Europe as what it has to offer. There is so many dimensions of Europe, and I tend to enthuse about whatever I've done most lately. But that was 3 days from Chamonix, and it worked up my appetite. So I've been just wanting to eat all this stuff, but I'm not supposed to eat the props until I'm done with them. So now I can explain to you this stuff, and then I can eat and drink the rest of it. First of all, I'm enjoying a great glass of red wine. And it's my birthday. And what I wanted to do is remind you that you can get great European style wine here in the United States. Nothing wrong with that. And it doesn't have the heritage and the history and the fancy name, but it can be a very good value and a very good wine. I'm drinking a wine called Cana's Feast. And Cana's Feast is a winery in Oregon, and they grow grapes in Washington State along the Columbia River Valley. And what they like to do is take a European style wine and grow it here. You see, Brunello di Montalcino is a very prestigious wine in Tuscany, and it is the Sangiovese Grosso grape. Well, you take the Sangiovese Grosso and grow it here. You got the beautiful sunshine of Eastern Washington, you got the right soil, and you got good technique, and you can produce something that in Italy would be close to Brunello di Montalcino, but right here, it's just a nice Washington State wine. Also, we are having our meal, and I'm going to just eat the rest of this now. So I want to show you one last time. Ensalada caprese. Don't miss the caprese salad when you're in Italy, because tomatoes are so good. The oil is so good. The cheese is so good. The basil is so good. This is all good. And it's even better when you're in Italy. And then I got my bruschetta. And I'm just a sucker for bruschetta. And it's really fun because it's an exercise in creativity. As I mentioned, you toast your rustic bread. It can be different kinds of bread, but it should be rustic and it should be crispy because you want to rub your garlic clove on it. And then you've got different, and I just had fun with this. I mean, here we've got anchovies with roasted red peppers and oil and basil on top. Here we've got shrimp with sauteed garlic. Oh, that's nice, with a bed of basil. And you can just get a jar of basil. In Italy, they grind it right there, but here you get a jar of basil. It's wonderful. Here we have my prosciutto, my mozzarella, and my basil. And get a little plant of basil on your windowsill, and you can do that. And here we have the classic, and that would be your oil, your chopped up tomatoes, your Parmigiano Reggiano, some basil, and some pine nuts. Now, those are just 4, but you could mix and match till the cows come home. But have some fun with your bruschetta. And when you go to Italy, you realize how important that is to the experience. Now, we're going to go 90 minutes away from Athens. Athens is 4 million people out of 10 million Greeks, all packed into Athens. You go out to the port, Piraeus, you get onto a fast hydrofoil, and in 90 minutes, you're in a little traffic-free island called Hydra, Hydra, Hydra. And in Hydra, there's no traffic except for human beings and donkeys. Are you ready? Here's a place I would enjoy spending my birthday, in the Greek Isles.
We're riding a Flying Dolphin, one of the fleet of speedy hydrofoils that zip from Athens to the islands and from island to island. It's fast, but less scenic, as the passengers are stuck inside. I like to hang out in the windy doorway. After a 90-minute ride, Athens is a world away, and we pull into the Isle of Hydra. Its main town, also called Hydra, is home to about 90% of the island's 3,000 residents. After the noise of Athens, Hydra's traffic-free tranquility is a delight. I'm glad I'm packing light as I hike up to my hotel. Hydra is one of the prettiest towns in Greece. Its superb harbor is surrounded by an amphitheater of rocky hills. There's an easy blend of workaday commerce, fancy yachts, and lazy tourists on island time. Donkeys rather than cars, the shady awnings of well-worn cafes, and memorable seaside views all combine to make it clear you found your Greek Isle. Hydra was a Greek naval power, famous for its shipbuilders. The harbor, with twin forts and plenty of cannon, housed and protected the fleet of 130 ships as the Greeks battled the Turks in their early 19th century War of Independence. The town stretches away from the harbor, a maze of narrow cobbled streets flanked by whitewashed homes. In the 1960s, the island became a favorite retreat for artists and writers who still draw inspiration from its idyllic surroundings. One of the island's greatest attractions is its total absence of cars and motorbikes. Instead, donkeys do the heavy hauling today, just as they have through the centuries. And I suppose for just as long, they've treated children to rides as well. At the top of the town, the humble Taverna Leonidas has been around so long, it doesn't need a sign. The island's oldest and most traditional taverna was the hangout of the local sponge divers a century ago. These days, Leonidas and Paniota feed guests as if they're family.
Hey, I want to remind you, this is so cool. This is a very important tip. We hiked up above the town. This is not in the business district. And we found a family that is kind of an impromptu restaurant. And they love cooking. All over Europe, I found these places that have evolved into restaurants, and they are the best values. They've got almost no rent. They love their work, and it is not in the center where all the tourists are. So you got to hike up, you got to know about it, or you got to take advantage of their offer to come into town and pick you up. I've listed several places in my guidebooks where you have to be here next to the palm tree on the main square at 6 o'clock or at 8 o'clock, and then they will ferry you up to their restaurant on the hill above town. But this is a great value. It's the kind of places we love to take our groups. For years, we've taken our groups here to this beautiful home, and we've enjoyed the meal you're going to see right now. But today, it's just me, Simon, and our cameraman.
And tonight, the place is all ours as our enthusiastic cook welcomes us into his kitchen. So what are we cooking?
We'll cook lamb with roast potatoes, grilled shrimps.
Oh yeah.
With oil lemon sauce, calamari with a garlic sauce,
Very good.
spanakopita, spinach pie,
Spinach pie.
eggplant,
Yeah.
and beets.
And before we know it, Leonidas has us all sitting at the table, and he starts bringing in wave after wave of his fabulous dishes.
Here we go, the shrimp.
Yeah, the shrimps, grilled shrimps,
Nice.
with the oil lemon sauce.
Okay.
Llamas.
Yep.
Good. Yep. Don't matter. Stand by this. Oye, aprendí de mañana.
A fleet of taxis shuttle people to outlying hamlets and beaches. We're catching one for a windy survey of the island and to be dropped off for a scenic hike back into town. Ydra's popular with walkers who come to explore the network of ancient paths that link the island's outlying settlements, churches, and monasteries. And in springtime, hikes come with fields of wildflowers. A delightful way to cap the day is to follow the coastal path to the village of Kamini. Its pocket-sized harbor shelters the community's fishing boats. Here with a glass of...
Look at this treat. A glass of ouzo. You get your ouzo, a little bottle, and then you get your water and you dribble a little water and the clear ouzo becomes cloudy, like I got to demonstrate a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Travel. Got a few ice cubes, got a tray full of olives, beautiful olives from the island, and they like to give you something to munch on. And they plopped down an entire octopus on our table. This is, if I was going to spend my birthday evening somewhere in Europe, this would be in the top 5, I think. Right here, Kamini, enjoying a sunset. Just imagine this. And then carbonate the experience by drinking half a bottle of that ouzo.
Ouzo and today's catch, as the sun slowly sinks into the sea and boats become silhouettes, you drink to the beauties of a Greek island escape. Perhaps nowhere else does the historic and cultural timeline of Europe reach so far back while being so vibrant today. I hope you've enjoyed our look at Athens, the Oracle of Delphi, and the romantic Isle of Hydra. I'm Rick Steves. Until next time, keep on traveling. Adio.
Adio. Adio. Yamas. I just, I love it. Each country's got its wonderful traditions, its conviviality, its friendliness, but it's all fundamentally good. So I was just wrapping up a show there, and obviously we didn't see all of that. I want to remind you, all of these clips are taken from half-hour shows, and you can watch the whole half-hour show anytime you want. There's like 150 of these things at ricksteves.com. There's everything we've ever produced is there for free, and you're welcome to watch it, and I hope enjoy it. I also want to remind you that we loved answering your questions. If you have any questions about anything, please jot it down in the Q&A widget there, and Julianne will collect those, and we'll answer as many as we can after this presentation. And while I'm thinking of Julianne, I just want to thank Julianne and Ben and Gabe, our staff here at Monday Night Travel, because we couldn't do it without all of them. And they just love this work as I do, because it's our chance to get together. So Julianne, Ben, and Gabe, thank you so much for making Monday Night Travel possible. Now, in a moment, we're going to go to Naples. And from a guidebook writing or a TV script writing point of view, I want to remind you, it's a challenge that you have to, I think, set the stage. You have to give, when you're doing video, I always like to have a big, fat, wide shot. That's what I call it, an establishing shot, because then you go in close and you know what you're looking at. If you go in close before you have the wide shot, you don't know what's the context. Same thing with the script. You need to take a couple of minutes to give the wide shot, the content version of a visual wide shot. And it's difficult to make that good television, frankly. But everything that follows is better television because you know the context. So recognize that when you see our TV shows. And I want to remind you, it's important to us because we're dealing with a more thoughtful audience. We're dealing with what's called PBS demographics. And I'm so thankful for PBS demographics because I get to write these scripts. And when I write a script, I can assume an attention span. I can respect your intelligence. And I know we're able to produce programming driven not by a passion for keeping advertisers happy, because we don't have advertisers. We have friends and neighbors and travel partners that are joining us. So we're making programs for our neighbors, for our friends, and we can respect your intelligence. It's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. I feel myself creeping into a pledge drive right now here, so I'll rein myself in. But right now, we're going to go to Naples. And I want to remind you, if you like Italy as far south as Rome, if you like Italy as far south as Rome, go further south because it just gets better. If Italy's getting on your nerves by the time you get to Rome, don't go farther south because it gets worse. Naples is Italy in the extreme. I love Italy, and that's why I love Naples. So hang on to your castanets. We're ready for Naples.
Centuries before Christ, Naples was a thriving Greek commercial center called Neapolis, or the New City. Over the ages, it became an important center ruled by a series of foreign overlords. In the 18th century, Naples finally became the capital of its own independent kingdom. Then, with the unification of Italy in 1861, Naples fell from being an important political capital to just another provincial town.
There you go. That's the context. That's the wide shot. We're setting the table before we get in close, and there's more.
Neapolitans lament that after their city joined the newly united Italy, its riches were swallowed up by the new country. As the city's wealth was used to fund the industrial expansion of the north, Naples eventually lost its status and glamour. Today, Italy's third largest city feels in many places like an urban jungle. Its lack of open spaces or parks makes it Europe's most densely populated city. Watching the police try to enforce traffic sanity is almost comical in this gritty city. The vast Piazza Garibaldi facing the train station provides an off-putting welcome to those arriving by train.
Off-putting welcome. Let me tell you a story. When I was 18 years old, what was it, 1973, getting off the train here with my buddy Gene, we were doing Europe on a shoestring. I mean, Europe on $5 a day was way out of our league. We were ragamuffins. Eurail Pass, Youth Hostel card, and picnics. That was it. And we got off the train here, and we stepped onto this square as 18-year-olds. And a man in a surgeon's outfit came up to me and looked me in his eyes earnestly, and he said, "Excuse me, we need blood for a dying baby." And I just couldn't handle it. I was scared to death. And we turned around, and we got back onto the train, and we went straight to Greece. We never even went to Naples. Well, I realized later, Naples is a beautiful, teeming place. And my mark of how somebody, how good a traveler they are is how do they love Naples? I love Naples, and I want to show you why right now.
But get beyond this, and Naples surprises the observant traveler with its good humor and decency. Its people have an impressive knack for living, eating, and raising children in the streets. Southern Italy's leading city, Naples offers a fascinating collection of museums, churches, and eclectic architecture. This tangled mess, as intense an urban scene as anything you'll find in Western Europe, still somehow manages to breathe, laugh, and sing with a captivating Italian accent.
A captivating Italian accent surrounded by chaos. In fact, there's an Italian word, sort of a warm and appreciated Italian concept. It's called bella chaos, the beautiful chaos. Naples is the bella chaos. I just love it. You need to get in there and have fun on its terms. And a great way to do that is in a marketplace. As you saw a couple of weeks ago here on Monday Night Travel in Palermo in Sicily, in Southern Italy, the marketplaces come with a soundtrack. It's a symphony of joy and commerce in the barking and the sales pitches of the merchants. Listen to the soundtrack. Listen to the music of the markets.
Naples Fish Market wiggles and squirts from under one of the city's surviving medieval gates. Each stall is eye-catching. Is the seafood fresh? Most of it's still alive. Wandering through this scene, enjoy the playful competition of the singing merchants. In so many ways, you'll find Southern Italy is a distinct culture from the north. People here are more fun-loving and easygoing.
Imagine what a joy this is for the cameraman. There's a camera person right here with this big camera right in our faces. We're just ignoring him. Everybody is just having fun. This is Italy. You gotta love it.
Naples has long suffered from a bad reputation. Unemployment is chronically high, and past local government set an example that the mafia would be proud of. But lately, with mayors committed to safety and law and order, the city has more police and feels much safer. Still, just to be cautious, assume any jostle or commotion is actually a smokescreen created by a thief team up to no good. Con artists are more clever than you. And also, assume able-bodied beggars are actually pickpockets. Keep your money belt hidden. Neapolitan traffic is thrilling. Red lights are considered discretionary. Pedestrians need to be wary, particularly of the motor scooters. Be careful, but be assertive. While many timid tourists get stalled on the curb, I get across quicker by jaywalking in the shadow of confident locals.
I got to say, this is so interesting to me because in my town, Edmonds here, it's a cute little suburb north of Seattle. We cannot figure out how to cross the street. We have stop signs. We have blinking lights around the stop signs. We have orange flags you pick up and you walk across the street while the stop sign is blinking with a sign down below that says, look left and right. And we have an audio track that tells us when we should walk and when we should stop. And the pavement is painted yellow so we can see where we're supposed to cross the street. And to me, it's so much visual pollution. And everybody goes, well, they think I'm just cruel, but I would like it if we could just assume a stop sign is a stop sign and then look both ways and don't cross. And if you're going to cross, maybe it's because I've spent a lot of my life in Naples, crossing the street in the traffic with locals. And I've found my trick, shadow a local. It works great. And I've survived to talk about it.
Rather than seeing Naples as a long list of sights, see its great archaeological museum, which we'll visit later, and then capture the spirit of the city by walking through its historic core. Spaccanapoli, literally split Naples, is a perfectly straight street that dates from ancient Greek times. It leads through the colorful heart of the old city.
Hey, I'll tell you.
Echoes of ancient Neapolis.
Look at these scenes. If you could put it in a bottle and sell it here, you'd have it made. I mean, the experience of just walking in the streets. You'll notice this whole bit on Naples, there's no admissions. There's no, when is it open? You're just out in, it's bella chaos. Just walking down the streets of Naples is one of the great experiences in Europe. I think every day you just go in a different direction. You know, people are thinking about when we're going to go back to Europe again. I just want to go back to Europe again when there's life in the streets. I don't want to go back to Europe until the life is back in the streets. You know, my style of travel, Rick Steves travel and social distancing have very little in common. And when we go back to Europe, I really just hope and pray that the little shops, all these shops that congest this street can survive this time. I think they will. And we're going to find that Europe's going to bounce back and we're going to patronize the little guys, the little entrepreneurial ventures, the moms and pops, so we can have that bella chaos, that basso living that we're going to learn about right now.
5. The original Greek street plan is remarkably intact, and back then, like today, small businesses by day became private homes after hours, and life tumbled out of the homes and into the lanes. Today, this scene is just one more page in the 2,000-year-old story of Naples. And to understand that story, I'm joined by my Neapolitan friend and fellow tour guide, Roberta Mazzarella. You name it, it occurs right on the streets today as it has for centuries. Kids turn a wide spot in the sidewalk into a soccer field. Walls are crusty with posters and death announcements. Neighborly chit-chat and heated arguments take place curbside. Blue buckets help busy moms connect with the delivery boy. Everyone seems connected by cell phones. And fast food comes in the form of a folded pizza. The tiny street-side chapel of Maradona is dedicated to Diego Maradona, a soccer star who played for Naples back in the 1980s.
We love soccer. In Italy, soccer is like religion. In Napoli especially. Look here, look what we have. Maradona, our big superstar, the soccer hero. That's his hair. And when we tried him, the city cried. That's the tears. Lacrime napolitane,
So this is the Temple of Maradona.
the Temple of Maradona.
Wow. Maradona. Amazing. If you don't know Maradona, he's like old, but he just died, as a matter of fact, I think the last year. But, you know, in much of Europe, companies tell their guides, don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics. And in Italy, they say, and don't talk about soccer, because it's just, people are so passionate about soccer. It's really fun to get into that when you're traveling, understand the passions of the people in the streets.
Even though for many Italians, soccer is like a religion, churches remain an important part of the community. Stepping into the lavishly Baroque Gesù Nuovo church, you'll learn how, along with sports heroes, Neapolitans have their religious heroes too. This much adored statue celebrates Giuseppe Moscati, a Christian doctor famous for helping the poor. A steady stream of the neighborhood faithful remember him and hope he remembers them, as a stop here is part of their daily worship routine. Moscati was so loved by the local community that when he died in 1927, there was a movement to make him a saint. After it was shown that he had cured 2 people of deadly diseases, he was fast-tracked to sainthood in 1987. The church where the saint preached has made a small museum covered with ex voti. These are given as thanks for prayers, in this case to Saint Moscati, that were answered. Each has a symbol of the ailment cured: heart disease, lung problems, a sick child, whatever. A display shows the great doctor's apartment, his possessions and photos. A bomb casing hangs in the corner. In 1943, it fell through the dome of Father Moscati's church, but destroyed almost nothing. Some say yet another miracle. The nearby Spanish Quarter is Naples at its rawest and most characteristic. Pause at any street corner to enjoy a vivid slice of Neapolitan life. And don't forget to look up. With no yards, families make full use of their tiny balconies.
This is a basso living.
Basso living.
Basso.
What does that mean,
It
basso?
can mean low.
So literally low.
Yeah, this is like a small apartment, 2, 3 bedrooms, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people join.
Okay.
God, I gotta say, I'm so thankful for my work. I get to walk around these crazy streets and take notes. I mean, I was just thinking, look up. I write it down in my little mole skinny. I never go anywhere without my mole skinny. This is my little notebook. And I just fill it with these things as that little butterflies. They flutter by and I grab them and I put them in here, you know. And then I massage them into my book at night at the hotel. But yeah, when you walk through these streets, look up and you see these families crammed into little balconies. There's so much joy. There's so much vitality. And then I get to walk around with people like Roberta. She is so great. And Roberta is talking to me now about basso living. We're learning about basso living. I get to write it down and share it with all of you. I'm just so thankful for this niche. And now during COVID, I get to sit here and enjoy this great wine and share it with you. It's just a great birthday party. Thanks for being here. And thanks for traveling with me through Naples. This is just a great city.
The traditional sort of romantic life in the streets of
Life in the streets.
Naples, yeah.
Many people might have money to go away from here, but they still stay here.
No taste of Naples is complete without a pizza. Antica Pizzeria da Michele is a favorite. Baking in just the right combination of fresh dough, mozzarella, and tomatoes in traditional wood-burning ovens, this restaurant is considered by many the birthplace of pizza. They brag it takes several years of practice to get the dough just right. Catering to pizza purists, the menu is brief, just 2 kinds. Marinara comes with tomato sauce, oregano, and garlic, no cheese. Margherita celebrates the unification of Italy. Named after the first Italian queen, it comes with the colors of the Italian flag: red tomatoes, white mozzarella cheese, and a garnish of green basil.
There you go, the Italian flag, red tomatoes, white mozzarella, and green basil. here you go. Here's a insalata caprese. It's the Italian flag. You got your red tomatoes, you got your white cheese, and you got your green basil. It's the three colors. Then you get to wash it down with some beautiful Sangiovese Grosso. I'm drinking Sangiovese Grosso. This is the wine, thanks to Cana's Feast, that is in Italy, the beloved Brunello di Montalcino. But the grape that makes that can be made by other vintners. And here we've got the same thing from my state's Columbia River Valley. We're connecting, we're learning, we're sharing, we're celebrating the good life. And Italy has so much to contribute.
Italians who come to the States are not impressed by thick and fancy pizzas. Judging from the enthusiasm of those munching these hot and tasty pies, what really matters is not the quantity of ingredients, but the quality.
There you go, Naples, Napoli. And I want to remind you, this is the most famous pizzeria because it claims to be the first and the greatest, Da Michele. But there's great pizzerias all over Italy. If you're going to eat here, Simon, my producer, always reminds me, take little bites because you can't talk with your mouth full. I'm sorry about that. But I want to remind you, there's lots of great pizzerias in Italy. If you're going to go to the famous ones, all the guidebooks say go to the famous ones. There's 2 or 3 of them. You got to go early or you got to go late, or you're never going to get in. I just mentioned the Spanish Quarter. The Spanish Quarter is the wild and crazy, rough and tumble, bella chaos center of Napoli. I found an even better place on my last visit, and it is Sanità. Sanità. It's just a few blocks away. If you can remember that, it's easily as good as the Spanish Quarter. And I want to remind you, everything we just saw in Naples, none of it was involving an admission or when is it open, when is it closed. You're simply walking through the streets, immersing yourself in that amazing city. If I was going to be in a great city on my birthday, it might be Naples. If I wanted to go to the best preserved Baroque city in Europe and enjoy the best beer anywhere, a beer drinking birthday party, I wouldn't go to Italy, that's for sure. I would go to the Czech Republic, the capital of the Czech Republic, and that's where we're heading next. The golden city of 100 spires, the only great city in Central Europe not messed up by World War II bombs, the great city of Prague.
Hi, I'm Rick Steves, back with more of the best of Europe. As always, we're sampling the local culture. And around here, that means great beer. We're in Prague, in the Czech Republic. Thanks for joining us. Prague, which escaped the bombs of last century's wars, is one of Europe's best preserved cities. It's nicknamed the Golden City of 100 Spires. And beyond its striking facades, it's an accessible city with a story to tell and plenty to experience. We'll explore Prague, filled with exuberant architecture and slinky with sumptuous Art Nouveau. With music spilling into the streets and colorful pubs serving up some of the best beer anywhere, it's a city thriving with visitors. We'll take in the sights, ranging from Europe's most evocative Jewish quarter to Prague's in-love-with-life Charles Bridge.
Charles Bridge, look at the spires. They call Prague the Golden City of 100 Spires. There's a good bunch of them right there. Everywhere you look, beautiful spires in that one city that didn't get bombed in World War II.
Buried in the center of Europe is the Czech Republic and its capital and dominant city, Prague. Prague, straddling the Vltava River, is easy on foot, with highlights like Wenceslas Square, the Old Town Square, Charles Bridge, and the cathedral up in the castle, all within about an hour's walk.
You know, I've got all these things that are free and I just got to tell you about them. I hope that it's not offensive to you to be promoting them, but we did this app. It's called Rick Steves Audio Europe. It's absolutely free. There's no ads in it. It's just information. And I don't talk about it much, but I just love it. It's Rick Steves Audio Europe. You can download it and you can take whatever, upload anything you want as the tours or the interviews. On Rick Steves Audio Europe, you got 60 guided tours. And we just laid out the map there and you see all the great sites of Prague. I've done it. Every time I get to Prague, I take my tour. I've got me in my ear. It's weird at first, but I get used to it. And Rick walks me around and I love it. It just explains to me everything. And I go from here to there across the bridge and up to the castle. You can do it too. There's 60 of these walks. They're free. Just stick me in your ear. The other half of Rick Steves Audio Europe are individual interviews I've done for my radio show. We've been doing this every week for an hour for 15 years now. That's a lot of 1-hour interviews. We've deconstructed all those interviews and collected the most important interviews in country-specific playlists. So if you're going to the Czech Republic, if you're going to Sicily, if you're going to Switzerland, if you're going to Ireland, you got all the interviews right there. You can download it and you can listen to it while you're on the road, wishing you had something constructive to listen to. That's what Rick Steves Audio Europe is all about. Check it out for the tours like of this great city.
18th century was Prague's golden age. The Holy Roman Emperor ruled from here. Back then, this was one of Europe's largest and most highly cultured cities. Until about 1800, Prague was 4 separate and fortified towns. The castle town, for 1,000 years the home of the Czech ruler. Below that, the little town, where nobles would live to be close to the king. The old town with its magnificent market square, and the new town, with the grand Wenceslas Square providing a stage for this country's tumultuous 20th century history. Prague's 4 gloomy decades of communist control feels like a distant memory as the city is bursting with entrepreneurial energy. Everything from the buildings like the Dancing House, nicknamed Fred and Ginger, to the vibrant crowds in the streets, seem to celebrate Czech freedom. Charles Bridge was commissioned in the 14th century by the Holy Roman Emperor Charles IV. It offers one of the most pleasant strolls in Europe. This bridge is part of the historic coronation route called the Royal Way. Processions ended above at the cathedral where the king was crowned. Along the way, they passed through the town center, crossing this delightful bridge. Today, the most commercial stretch of the Royal Way is a shopping gauntlet lined with Prague's most playful diversions. Like main drags throughout Europe, this walk mesmerizes visitors. Use it as a spine, but make a point to venture beyond. Prague is flourishing with inviting lanes and vibrant markets. Today, as they have since medieval times, Prague's farmers markets keep both hungry locals and visitors well fed. Prague's Old Town Square, once just another farmers market, is now the heart of the city. But today, the commerce is clearly tourism.
It's clearly tourism, but look at the architecture. That's amazing. That's Baroque. That's centuries old. And we can see it and visit and celebrate it to this day.
The fanciful Gothic teen church soars over everything, as if to remind tourists that lots of religious history took place right here. Back in the 15th century, when some Christians were beginning to struggle against Roman Catholic dominance, this was Prague's leading Hussite church. Hussites were followers of Jan Hus, whose statue graces the square. He was a local preacher who got in trouble with the Vatican 100 years before Martin Luther and the Reformation. The chalice is a symbol of Hus and his followers who believed everyone, not just priests, should be able to partake in the Eucharist, or Holy Communion. These days, huge crowds gather at the 15th century astronomical clock here on the Old Town Square. The dials seem to tell you everything you could possibly want to know.
By the way, when you look at these medieval contraptions, it's easy to look at it through 21st century eyes and just think, well, that's kind of goofy. I mean, why do they do all that crazy stuff? That's not accomplishing anything. Look at it through 15th century eyes. Understand it in its context. Appreciate it in its context. Then you'll look at it and you go, wow, that must have been a wonder in its day. People crowded around 500 years ago to see this, just like they do today. And back then they crowded around because this was really something beyond imagination as Europe was slowly developing into the modern age.
It tells the phases of the moon, sunset, current sign of the zodiac, each day's special saint, and somehow it even tells the time. And of course, 500 years ago, everything revolved around the earth. At the top of the hour, Death tips his hourglass and pulls the cord. The windows open as the 12 apostles parade by. acknowledging the gang of onlookers. The rooster crows. And finally, the bell rings. But my favorite part of the show is watching the crowd gawk.
Whoa, I love Prague. I wouldn't mind being there on my birthday. And if I was there on my birthday, I wouldn't be drinking red wine. I'd be drinking the best beer in Europe. But I am not in Prague. I'm right here, and I'm drinking in Washington some beautiful wine. So now I put together this little trip for all of us selfishly. This is my own sort of fantasy about my favorite places that I might celebrate my birthday. A great place to do that is on the southwest tip of Ireland, the Dingle Peninsula. Thank you for joining us today. And now I want to take you for a little finale and a look at my very favorite corner of the Emerald Isle.
In Ireland, you drive on the left. On narrow roads like these, take your time. Everybody works together in a scenic do-si-do up and over the mountain. With the help of a good map, I often take the slow, more memorable route. The dramatic Connor Pass leads to the scenic southwest tip of Ireland, Dingle Peninsula. Over 100 inches of rain a year give this area its famous 40 shades of green. Dingle Peninsula offers an ideal mix of far and away beauty, archaeological wonders, and desolate walks or bike rides.
Far and away beauty. Back in 1992, Tom Cruise produced a movie called, or starred in a movie called Far and Away. And it was produced exactly right here. And if you love that movie, you can see the same spot where it was filmed. It's the southwest corner of Ireland. And I want to remind you, Ireland is a sparsely populated island with little roads like this, no shoulders, and amazing scenery and meager public transit. Rent a car, but drive carefully because it can be dangerous.
All within convenient reach of its main town. My Irish dreams have long been set here on this sparse but lushly carpeted peninsula. The people of Dingle are close to the land. When I asked a local if he was born here, he thought for a second and said, no, it was about 6 miles down the road. When I asked if he'd lived here all his life, he said, not yet. Dingle is so traditionally Irish because it's another Gaeltacht, a region where the Irish culture survives, subsidized by the government. While English is always there, the signs, menus, and songs often come in Irish, or Gaelic, first. Teenagers from Ireland's big cities come here for summer camp, filling old-time schoolrooms to learn the traditional language and Irish ways.
Time? Conas time, eh? Time? Will tu sauce na Alicia? Anna hosta. Will tu co sauce the Larry? Will tu co sauce the Larry? Oh, Anna Varfa, time co sauce the Larry.
And here, Irish songs are sung in Irish.
I want to remind you, this is kind of a beautiful story. You know, all over the world, little languages are dying every year. 10, 15 languages die. And in Europe, the little languages are actually becoming more widely spoken. That's because the EU is explicitly in favor of ethnic regions rather than big countries that got their way when they drew the lines on the map. Little ethnic regions, little nations without states, they're getting more and more rights because of the EU. Consequently, more people are speaking the little languages today than a generation ago. In Ireland, for example, 140,000 people speak Gaelic, this language, as their first language. They learn English so they can communicate with the rest of the world. And about 1 million people learn Gaelic as their second language. That's kind of exciting. And when you travel around Ireland, you should be aware of that.
And old churches do double duty as concert halls, where those enthusiastic about traditional music share their art.
So that was a beautiful moment. And you might ask, how do you know about that? Anybody can know about that. You just got to go to the tourist office and see what's happening. You got to read the little brochures on the table inside the door at your guest house or your B&B. You got to reach out and be proactive and find out what's happening. Because all over Europe, there's traditional music, there are talented musicians, there's a real culture struggling to survive. And as travelers, we can really be a positive influence on that by patronizing the arts. And this is a good example of what you might find when you're in Ireland.
The town of Dingle is the perfect home base for peninsula explorations. It's just large enough to have all the necessary tourist services and a steady beat of Irish folk music. Although a popular tourist destination, Dingle still has a relaxed feel. This is a place where the fish and the farm still matter. A faint whiff of burning peat fills its streets. Tractor tracks dirty the main drag. And 40 fishing boats still sail from its harbor.
So I've never been in Ireland for my birthday, but I think it'd be a nice place to be on my birthday. I have been in Iran on my birthday. And I was thinking, I want to show a little clip of me on my birthday in Europe. As I mentioned, I'm always in Europe on my birthday. And normally I'm just kind of keeping it low. Don't talk about my birthday. I don't really care. I just got to stay focused on the work. But here in Iran, I was working really hard on our Iran special. This is 11 years ago when I turned 55. And we were rolling, and they have a little surprise for me. So join me in the little town, in the big city, the wonderful city, the important city, the hometown of the great poets of Iran, Shiraz, as we get into a home, make some friends, and it happens to be May 10.
This is Rick.
Nice to meet you. Visitors are welcomed into Iranian homes as honored guests. We've been invited into a fairly wealthy family's home for dinner and a look at the modern domestic scene. Their home is as contemporary and up-to-date as you'd find anywhere. Because we're here with our camera, the women are dressed more conservatively than they would be if they were just here with their family and friends. Time and time again, we experienced how, in Islam, visitors are considered a gift of God and treated as such with generous hospitality. And tonight, that includes a wonderful meal.
This is called Iranian kebab. This is the chicken.
So this would be lamb mostly?
Mostly lamb.
Oh, do you say bon appetit? Is there any word like that?
Nushajan.
Yeah, nushajan.
Nushajan.
Yeah.
It's the same as bon appetit.
Before I know it, my plate's filled with fish, kebabs, 2 kinds of rice, eggplant, and tomatoes. You understand, you're listening. The conversation's as lively as at any home I've visited in Europe.
Well, that's what people say. If you really want to eat well in Iran, make some friends.
And dessert came with a surprise.
Hey, look at this.
Happy birthday to you.
Mohammed, thank you. Oh, you guys.
Puff the candles.
Puff them out. Yo! Oh, Mamnoon. Mamnoon very much.
Mamnoon very much. I think that means thank you. Thank you very much. That was a delightful birthday party in Iran with good friends in Iran. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for indulging me on a birthday party. I invited you. It's just nice to be home for my birthday. And it's nice to have all of you celebrating our travels together. So, hey, Julianne, let's, I bet we have some questions to answer.
We do have some great questions tonight, but Ben and I, who's behind the scenes, we are just hoping that everyone would join us in singing happy birthday to you before we get to the questions.
Okay.
Okay. I just happen to have my guitar right here.
That's good. I just happen to have my cake with some candles that need lighting. So let's do it.
Perfect. We have about 3,500 people here to sing happy birthday with us. So if everyone would join in at home, that would be a lot of fun. Okay. Ready, Ben? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rick. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you guys very much. And now, like they say in Iran, I'm going to puff these things out. Puff. Oh, that's nice. Mamnoon, Mamnoon very much. Thank you. Julianne, thank you. Ben, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
And oh, that's great. Hey, and we do want to remind you all that Julianne is quite an accomplished composer and musician, and she's very modest, but I'm just so proud of the work she does. And her first album is at Spotify, and there's a link in our chat thing there today if you want to check out Julianne's music. Julianne, let's have some questions.
Thank you very much, Rick. Let's see. So I would say the first and most popular question tonight would be, do you have a favorite birthday memory in Europe?
You know, normally I'm in Europe just working like a fiend for 100 days. And I love it. I just do it kind of when I'm focused, and if things get in my way, it derails me. So I'm very disciplined, and I've been probably 30 or 40 birthdays in Europe, and the typical birthday, nobody knows it's my birthday. Almost nobody talks to me, and I'm just doing my work, and I don't want to be distracted by it, but I'm not really that strong. And on my 60th birthday, I'll never forget, I was doing my work in Siena, and my friend Roberto Becchi, who we see, he's my fixer in Siena and so on. We see him in a lot of our shows. He said, Rick, we got to celebrate your birthday. So him and his beautiful wife, Patty, and their son got together with me, and he booked a beautiful restaurant in Siena. And he was very careful not to get in the way of my work. So after you're done working, 9:30 or something, can you sit down for an hour and just be a normal human being and celebrate your birthday? After all, it's the big 6-0, you know? Yep. So I said, sure. And it just touched me. It was so beautiful. People care. And that was really nice. So normally my birthdays are non-events, and I like it that way. But it really is nice to celebrate. Of course, it's nice to celebrate your birthday. That's my favorite birthday.
Oh, that is very sweet. It's so nice when people go out of their way to do something special.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I was going to ask, Stacy was wondering, do you and your crew have any birthday traditions when you're on the road? But it sounds like you guys just want to get all your work done.
You know, here's an example of how we want to get our work done. We were in the Cinque Terre on 9/11. 2001 when the Twin Towers were hit, and we were working like crazy, and we came around the corner, and we were filming, and we went into a bar, and everybody was sitting there looking at the TV just going and I looked at it, and I was seeing the tower burning and a plane sticking in it, you know, and I thought it must be some sort of a movie or something like that. And then slowly we realized this is happening, and we looked at each other, and we just thought, let's keep working. So we just had to keep on going. I mean, we have a mission, and we have to roll with the punches. And we're so thankful for our ability to go to Europe and to bring it home and to share it with America. And without getting too big for our britches, we just really feel important about our mission. We want to expose Americans to the rest of the world, inspiring us all to be comfortable, to reach out and to celebrate the world. It's our mission. This is what we do. And it's far more than having a great vacation in Europe. You know, for us, Europe is the wading pool for world exploration. And if we can help people just break out of get out of our country, you come home more thankful than ever that you're an American, probably, but you're a better citizen of the planet. And the planet needs us, and we need the planet. And if we don't travel, we never realize that. I like that. The planet needs us, and we need the planet. Here's to that.
Yeah, cheers. I think you need that drive in your line of work too, because if not, we would just have Rick Steves France or something. That would be it, just the one.
Europe is a big beef, that's for sure.
Yep. Okay, let's see. This is kind of a fun question from Dana. She was wondering, did the camera operator, who I'm guessing was Simon, on the Tour de Mont Blanc, did he have to carry the camera equipment for the entire hike?
Yes, they did. And
Wow.
you know, the interesting thing is we're a crew of 3, Julianne, and it's the camera, the tripod, and then a bag full of batteries and lenses and all sorts of other stuff. And I don't have to carry it because it'll wrinkle my wardrobe. Simon takes very good care of me because I can't hurt myself, and I've got to look okay on camera. So, but Simon, and I asked Simon, do you really need the tripod today? And 90% chance we could get away without it, but Simon's not going to leave that tripod and have it shuttled ahead. He'll carry it all day long in case we need it. Simon's that committed to the product, to the work we're doing. And our cameraman Carl would carry it if Simon didn't. So, you know, those guys they carry the gear. It's a very physical job. I mean, you know, to be a cameraman on a TV, on a travel show is different than being a cameraman or a camera person in a industrial setting. You know, you're climbing with that camera and the tripod, And as we get older, the gear gets lighter, but it's still heavy. But thankfully, it's about half the weight as it used to be. And we're twice as old as we used to be. So we can still manage it, but they carry that stuff. And sometimes I have to carry it or I just have to hold it. And I go, I can't even lift it up. And Simon just puts but I just love the fact that we're a guerrilla crew. There's 3 of us and everybody wears all the hats. Nobody says, no, that's not in my job description, or, oh, I've been working 8 hours today. They're in it. We are there in the trenches doing this work and loving it. It is just a real, it's an exhilarating thing because we believe in our mission and we're thankful for our mission.
It's part of the magic of the show, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. And then for a while there, we were in Prague tonight, and you were talking about the clock they have there. And you said it's kind of fun to picture how people used to view the clock and how it just inspired so much wonder.
Yeah.
Do you think that your perspective on Europe has changed over the years, or do you still kind of have that same sense of awe as you might have had when you were younger?
Well, I've got the same sense of awe, but the more you know, the more you take to Europe with you, the more you take anywhere in your travels with you, the more you get out of it. I'm really humbled by serious scholars who travel and write literature. I don't write literature, I write guidebooks, so I'm pretty humble about that. But these guys that write great novels about travel, I mean, they know so much in order to report on what they do. And it's so clear to me, the more you bring with you, the more you appreciate. I mean, you can't get into the site for half price. Everybody pays the same, but people who understand what they're looking at, they have a much better value. So in my lifetime of travel, I've realized that the better prepared I am when I embark on a trip, the more value I'll get out of the trip. And that has become really clear to me.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's like Hus. Most people don't know the name Hus. I love Hus because he was the proto-Martin Luther. He tried to do what Martin Luther tried to do 100 years before Luther, and he got burned at the stake.
Yeah.
How did Martin Luther pull it off? Why didn't he get burned at the stake? That's not pseudo-intellectualism. That's not just trying to be a scholar. That's exciting. It's an amazing story, and it is who we are today because of these guys. I mean, it's just amazing. So, the Czech people, whether they care about the religious dimension of Hus or not, he stood up for Slavic rights, for the Slavic language. He's the father of the Czech language. Right there on that square, there's a statue of Hus next to that church where he preached. And then for me to understand that, I walk around that statue and I just think, this is a thrill. Imagine. Then you go to the church where Hus stood on that pulpit and he talked about the stuff that pissed off Rome and it pissed off the emperor. And to recognize that that was happening, these are courageous people that helped us progress. And we are today because of their heroism. And I just think that's a real blessing to get turned on by that. And as a teacher and a travel writer and a tour guide, our job is to help our travelers who are not so well-versed in that. They're well-versed in other things. They're just as smart as we are, but our specialty is this, to help them get inspired by it. That's the rewarding thing about our work. And that's why I'm so proud of the work that our guides do. We've got 100 guides that are every bit as good as me. Probably, I mean, I think they're better than me in the countries where they work. And I'm so proud to be able to connect people who see my TV show and want to go to Europe with me to this or that guide who really knows that country better. And then they come back having had the time of their life. I mean, that's why I'm so proud of our tour program. And I got to say, I'm so excited that in a couple of weeks, we're going to announce, people pay attention. We're going to be actually opening it up in a couple of weeks because things are looking good. We're going to be very, very conservative. We hope to do tours in 2021, but right now we're going to start taking deposits for tours in 2022. And I'm very confident that we'll be able to do them safely and reliably. And then I'll be able to connect all of our travelers with our wonderful guides, and we'll get to go to these cities and have those kind of experiences. And for me, it's really, really, really gratifying to be able to make that happen.
I'm sure everyone watching is very excited for when we can travel again. And that brings us to our last question. And it comes from kind of Lisa and Don. And they're kind of asking, after this year of travel dreaming, where do you plan on spending your birthday in 2022 when we can be traveling out there once again?
Julianne, all day today, I've been delighting in all the emails and the letters and the visits and the little packages and all for my birthday. It's just great. And I'm thankful for it. Next year, I hope nobody knows it's my birthday. I'm going to be buried in Europe somewhere, updating our guidebooks or making a TV show. And thankful I've got so many friends that wish they could get a hold of me and say happy birthday. But I'm going to be in Europe doing what I love so much. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, Julianne, for the serenade. And I want to remind people, our staff put together a collection of video greetings from around the world. And I'm going to run it right now if I can do that with the shared screen. And that'll be our way of saying goodbye tonight, Julianne, a little different. And I guess we just want to say, Julianne, thanks to everybody for joining us. We want to remind you that next week is May 17, and that is Norway's Independence Day. So we're going to celebrate Norway's birthday. And I'm going to be with my good friend, Pal Johansson. And Pal is from Oslo, and we're going to have a Norway show, and we're going to eat and drink Norway. And then a week after that, it is Iran. We just had a little sneak peek of Iran. We had an amazing time in Iran. And 2 weeks from tonight, it's Iran. Won't you be my neighbor? That's the name of the show. And right now, we're just going to say thank you for joining us. And I want to just go out on this. And this is a 4-minute collection of videos of people from around the world who are travel partners of ours, wishing me happy birthday. And if you're ready to head on out, we welcome you to hit the door. But if you want to hang out and watch this, you can do that also. So thanks very much and happy travels until next week. Here we go. And here's the happy birthday montage.
There we go. Perfect.
Happy birthday, Rick Steves! And happy birthday, baby!
Happy birthday, Rick!
We hope it's an evocative day.
Hello, Rick. Happy birthday from rainy Berkshire, England. Hope you have an incredible year of travelling when things open back up. And thanks for all the fun and travels. Keep on travelling.
France, May of 2019. Italy, May of 2022. Here we come. Thanks, Rick. Happy birthday. Keep on traveling.
Hi, Rick. Happy birthday.
From Iceland.
No, just kidding. From California.
California.
Till our next trip, thank you for continuing to inspire us to travel.
Feliz aniversário, Rick. That's how we say happy birthday in Brazilian Portuguese. I hope we can all resume traveling real soon. Thanks for being an inspiration. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rick. Thanks for all the travels.
Happy birthday, Rick Steves. You've been a guiding light through all of 2020, and I look forward to you guiding us through Europe in 2021. I just got shot number 2. I'm ready.
Happy birthday, Rick Steves. Thank you for everything. Santé.
Happy birthday, Rick Steve. I just want to say you inspired me so much and always makes my day, and I'm grateful for you. Bye.
Hi Rick, it's your friend and fellow travellers Craig.
And Ashley from Glasgow.
And we just want to say a very happy birthday.
And as they say in Scotland,
Slàinte!
Happy birthday to Rick Steve. Yay!
Happy birthday, Rick, from beautiful Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Keep on traveling.
Hey, happy birthday, Rick. Just wanted to say thanks for opening my eyes to Europe. Thanks for Monday Night Travels. And thanks for the bloopers, because that's really what we're all here to see.
Hi, Rick. Happy birthday. I was introduced to your show over quarantine and became obsessed. Thank you so much for all you do. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Hey Rick, my name's Sarah, and I just want to thank you so much for being such an inspiration for people like me who live abroad and for everyone who keeps on traveling. Happy birthday.
Hi,
we're Allie and James.
Back with more of the best of Newfoundland and Labrador.
And today is your
birthday! Happy birthday, Rick.
Steves.
Keep on traveling.
Happy birthday, Rick Steves. Until next time, keep on traveling. Happy birthday, Rick Steve. Until next time, keep on traveling.
Hi, Rick. Happy birthday. Thank you for fueling my love for travel.
and being an inspiration. Have a great day.
Happy birthday, Rick, from your fans in the Netherlands.
Or as they say it here, gelukkige verjaardag.
Happy birthday, Rick. Thanks for being my travel guide and companion to 15 European countries. Enjoy your special day.
Very happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for your Monday nights, getting us through this pandemic. Keep on traveling.
Rick Steves, happy birthday.
Happy birthday from Paris, Rick Steves. Cheers.
Rick, I've traveled around a lot of cities with you in my ear. Thank you for that and have a wonderful birthday.
Happy birthday, Rick Steves. Oh, baby, keep on traveling.